Aaron got her blessing, the evil fish. We lost Luna, and Ignis is now blind, who was, injured as he put on the ring at the Lucia. This is the one I always come back to, apparently. So, the boys are not in a good place. And they spent several weeks in Accordo anyway, so Altissia is like the capital of Accordo, so they were in another part either of the city or of the country, basically recouping. So, yeah, there's that. But the ring and the king are now together, but Noct can't put on the ring quite yet, between, emotionally not being ready for it. We don't know what it costs him physically. So, we are on our way to the enemy stronghold, but we're stopping by here to get a royal arm. And this is from what you do in Altissia and what you do in Cartanica, I think is like the pivotal point in the story of between the bros and just sort of what they mean to each other, what they're willing to do for each other. You kind of, that sort of line in the sand is sort of drawn of like, okay, this is what I'm capable of, this is what I'm willing to try to be capable of, this is what I'm going to do for you. And we did both choices at the end of Ignis, of like the canon ending, because it's what actually impacts the main game, and then you have the happy ending, quote unquote, with verse 2, where it does seem kind of odd though when you kind of think about it. Either way Ignis puts on the ring, just because he's in Gralia, what difference does it make? I mean, his spiel is much more, ignoct at the verse 2. I don't buy him going, this world doesn't mean anything to me. It's not just Noct, he's got other people to care for. I don't think Iggy's quite that shallow, if that makes sense. Verse 1 makes more sense, the canon verse. But the only thing that really changes is just, okay, follows Arden to Gralia, and then just his mindset, I guess, when he puts on the ring. Cartanica, desolate district in the eastern reaches of the western continent. The railway that transects the imperial territory still stops at the station, but few board the Magna Fortia from Cartanica these days. The elevated railroad platform offers an expansive view of the surrounding area. Retaining walls hold back soil on the Sucarp mountain slopes, while gas and oil fields pepper the ground below. The famed Vodina Castano can also be seen from the station, with an elevator providing direct access. Look how fast the sun is going down. And that is not necessarily a technical glitch. This is part of the world right now, so that is a thing, and we'll be finding that out shortly. The famed Niflheim sought to recover and restore the magic technology of old as the key to ensuing the nation's future prosperity, but mass production of said magic technology required enormous amounts of oil and coal. Thus, the Empire set its sights on Cartanica, a once lively town rife with natural fuels. After the Empire had its fill, however, the city was left a shell of its former self, drained of its resources and devoid of human life. So yeah, Empire fun, if you will. But yeah, kind of going back to Iggy and the fun times and the, you realize, like, I respect Square Enix's, not quite sure, like, the attempt, but the treatment of Ignis as a character. And we'll see kind of how his decision and his injury sort of impacts the group. And that one scene that predated, you know, our arriving here at the station, where it says several weeks later, which is like a month and a half, couple months. So it's like, it's not just Noct grieving and getting over Luna, it's Ignis, you know, realizing, okay, I am now severely injured. The cook, he's the, you know, guy that keeps the books, he's the grown-up of the group, basically, so, you know, and, you know, he prides himself on that. That's his role. He is the advisor to the king, you know, and it just, you know, coming to terms with, you know, a life-altering injury.
It'll still be some while until we reach Tenebrae.
Hopefully we hear some good news about Lady Lunafreya before then. I hope she's okay.
Me too. I'm hoping for another miracle.
And the fact that you kind of get to know Ignis and you understand the role, and, you know, and it affects combat too. You know, the fact that they took something like that seriously and respectfully, and he's not sort of like the token disabled character, you know, that type of thing where it could be like a trope or almost a mockery.
I'll bet you don't know why they closed Casino off to the public.
I'll bet you don't either.
These spelunkers found something fierce down there.
Don't believe everything you hear, buddy.
And I'm kind of curious, are there other characters in video games in general with a major disability?
Oh, guess I better turn around.
What's wrong?
I came to the Fodena Casino thinking I'd pay my respects at the Royal Tomb. Little did I know they put the place off limits on account of some accident.
So you're saying there's no way inside that Faustino Menudo or whatever?
Fodena Castino. Where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose, but I wouldn't take my chances if I were you.
Festina Menudo. Just fun. Leave it to Noct.
Listen, kid, you may be dead set on going down there, but you're set to end up dead if you do.
Now, they put in a patch. Was it a patch or was it part? No, it had to have been a patch where they kind of added to Cartanica here, so these little mini quests weren't there before. So this is sort of a recent thing.
Please help me!
Huh?
Oh, please, sir. Could you help me look for Yelro, Jaro, Becky, and Joe?
Help you look for who, and who?
My darling baby chocobos. I thought I'd take them on a trip to see the world, but now they're off seeing it without me. They can't have gone too far. They can barely flap their wings. Oh, they must be so scared. Won't you help me find them?
Yeah, okay. Jeez.
But I got the Royal Pack because I had already gotten the game. So it was either a patch or the Royal Pack edition. So I don't know if I need any of this stuff. I might need some of this stuff, though.
Welcome, boys. We don't have much, but you're welcome to browse at your leisure.
Yes, we're gonna need some of those.
Thank you.
Okay, I get good Phoenix Downs. Use those for other things. Okay.
Come again.
Here we get a good look of Fodena Menudo.
There's an elevator that should take us straight down to the mine. Wonder if the tomb's inside. Those two went to grab a bite in that glorified dining car they call a restaurant.
Hey, kid, help me out here. You probably already know how the quarry's closed off due to an unexplained accident. What you probably don't know, however, is that this journalist is looking to be the first to get the real scoop on the situation. The thing is, the quarry's crawling with ferocious beasts, and my pen is mightier than my sword. Well, actually, I don't have a sword. But you do. That's why I want you to go down there and take some photos on my behalf. First, I'll need 3 shots of that big machine. While you're at it, I also need one of the abandoned shed down there. Thanks, kid.
Why ask for help when you can just demand it?
I kind of was wondering when we were getting gas at one point, it's like, okay, in the world, you know, there's got to be like oil fields, you know, where would you get petrol? Well, apparently down there, oh, somebody's driving down there. There's actually life down there. Wow, I don't think I've ever noticed that before. You know, it was just a dynamic thing, and not dynamic, static thing. I didn't realize. Huh. Well, that's really interesting. Just those little details. Oh, it just gives it so much more life. I mean, you spend all your time in Lucius, obviously, so you see it as a sort of a living, breathing environment. I suppose kind of like the difference between the Rebellion and the Empire in Star Wars. This is the section apparently where the Omen trailer actually took place. And also, you know, we had the train scene where, you know, Gladio is just a giant-ass stick. And it's like, you can't push somebody to do something they are just not mentally and emotionally ready for. That I can have, you know, great experience on.
If the monsters down there don't kill you first, the smell probably will.
What? Was there a gas leak or something?
No one knows for sure, and I'm not risking my life going down to find out. If you want to risk yours, though, then be my guest.
I mean, it's enough for Gladio to say, you know, oh, yo, just, you know, suck it up and, you know, do what you gotta do. And it's like, you don't understand what it's like to be a chosen king, you know? It's like, you don't know firsthand the weight of what Noctis forced to do. He doesn't have a choice in this matter. I mean, he's lost Regis, he's lost Luna now, his best friend and brother is seriously injured. Then there's the whole weight of the prophecy, and Ignis knows stuff. You know, this is the part that makes this a Final Fantasy game, because if you aren't emotionally screwed at the end, you're either, you know, you ain't playing Final Fantasy. So this one, it gets deep, but I can wax poetic.
Around here.
The climate's more accommodating in Tenebrae.
But I can wax poetic forever on this. And I think this is one of the reasons why Iggy's my favorite character, too. I don't know where the other Chicky Chick is. Where Chicky Chicky Chicky? Okay, no Chicky. Oh, I know where the Chicky is, okay. We also got to team up with Ravis, which was awesome, because I like Ravis.
That makes 4.
Fodina Menudo. Quarry boasting the richest ore reserves in all of Niflheim. After the mine shut down, a variety of wild plants dug their roots into the rubble, defying the natural terrain and gradually transforming the arid basin into a makeshift marshland. Though the quarry lies in imperial territory, the mines are said to house a royal tomb. I don't know why they placed them where they placed them. Local legends say the oldest king in Eos is interred within. So that be Somnus? But many Gartanicans dismiss these claims as mere fabrications, tall tales trumped up by Imperials trying to appropriate the legacy of Lucius for themselves. The truth about the tome lies buried somewhere beneath the silt and soil. Some suppose the demon-deterring mausoleum was erected as a sign of friendship between the kingdom and the empire in an age when the two nations enjoyed amicable relations. The scars of war are visible across the land, while symbols of peace remain hidden from sight. Interesting little nugget of information. And now we have the luxury of going back to pre-Altissia. But we will forge on ahead.
In the wake of the Tide Mother's wrath, the government of Accordo has declared a state of national emergency.
On behalf of the nation, I would like to express our relief that King Noctis has survived. The towering waves that swept over Altissia left great destruction in their wake. It will take time to rebuild our lives. That said, the damage done to our fair capital would have been far more severe were it not for the aid of the King and the Oracle.
First Secretary Claustra also pledged the government would continue its search for Lady Lunafreya, whose current whereabouts remain unknown.
High Commander Fleury has been deemed accountable for Altissia's tragedy and sentenced to execution. Lord Ravis Knox Fleury was promoted to the Imperial Army's top post amid the turmoil of the failed peace talks. The High Commander's primary responsibility was restoring stability to Lucis, yet his campaign against the Hydrian ended in disaster, incurring monumental losses for the Empire and collateral damage to the area.
In the wake of the Tide Mother's wrath, the government of Accordo has declared a state of national emergency.
On behalf of the nation, I would like to express our relief that King Noctis has survived. The towering waves that swept over Altissia left great destruction in their wake. It will take time to rebuild our lives. That said, the damage done to our fair capital would have been far more severe were it not for the aid of the King and the Oracle.
First Secretary Claustra also pledged the government would continue its search for Lady Lunafreya, whose current whereabouts remain unknown.
High Commander.
In the wake...
Okay. And here are our boys here. I can understand why he's frustrated, but, you know, he just lashes out at everybody else. Just want to give Iggy a smoochie.
Welcome.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. I'm never quite sure how long to do these streams. I try to keep it under like 3 hours because it's like, you know, if you're just sort of, you know, hanging out and you have people actually come, which is really cool, and you see like the little head there going, somebody showed up, and I'm like, hey, hi, how are ya? It's nice when they stayed. Hey, if you're welcome, welcome aboard. But I kind of do this just to kind of throw it up on YouTube, so I'm like, okay, if somebody
What's on
does
your minds?
deign to actually watch, I'm like, well, I don't know, do they want to see me, you know, listen to me babble for 6 hours? I mean, so I try to keep it little tiny nuggets of randomness. But again, it's more practice for me to like verbalize in an intellectual manner. It's gonna take a lot of gameplay.
What'll you boys be having?
Yeah, you don't come up with a new recipe with cheap-ass chicken nuggets.
We'll see you around.
Alrighty. I think that's it for exploration here.
Oh, thank you. Aren't they just the cutest? They're the most adorable Choco Chicks in the world.
Lady has some issues. Alright. Everything else is down in the mine.
Ready to set out?
I can't leave Ignis behind. He comes with you regardless, but it's like, it's Ignis. He's gonna come regardless.
I'll manage somehow.
I mean, I can't imagine Ignis agreeing to staying up top, knowing that the boys are down below. He would come because it's like, I don't care what the hell it takes. I'm going to at least try to protect you. So regardless of what you two do, Ignis does come with you. Vodina Castano. Once rich in resources, this mine fell out of use in recent years and now serves as little more than a watering hole for wild beasts. According to Core, however, a royal tomb lies in the quarry's depths, awaiting to be uncovered. Now, I don't know in like the game guide that if there's like a list of
Well,
you know who you are.
We made it to the quarry.
Yes, that is my
likely
phone.
lies deeper inside.
My ringtone is the Chocobo theme. Shut up.
Feeling a little out of my element.
We're a foreign species in this environment. Mind we don't end up prey.
Right. Good tip.
Ignis walks at a slower pace due to his eye injury. Be sure not to leave him behind. Now, the one thing they kind of got wrong is the length of Iggy's cane. And I've, watched various YouTube videos of blind individuals, and they were kind of discussing the tools that they use. A cane should be like shoulder height or chin height, because it's done by your height. And of course, it's a hip height for him, so it's way too short. It kind of makes sense, I suppose, in sort of a combat situation. You don't want this giant stick, so it's more of a compact, sturdier cane, but as far as what he should be using, it's too short. That's like the one thing that, that isn't quite right. Alright. And yes, I just instinctively always have to make sure he eats with us, because I will always be turning around, making sure he's
bad.
okay.
Watch your step.
As best I can.
Go at your own pace.
Whoops.
We'll wait.
I didn't mean to do that.
Is it too much to ask the royal procession sticks together?
Too much to ask you to shut it?
I fell down the cliff. That was not my fault.
Don't push yourself, Ignis.
And it's moments like that that just sort of feel, just wow. Where, Iggy will stumble and fall and Prompto sticks right by him the entire time, helping him up. It's such a natural, real thing to witness. And I didn't even know about it until I was watching somebody else's gameplay. I think it was Final Fantasy Peasant, and he pointed it out, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah! It's just such a, such a brotherhood thing. And Gladio will be continually bitching. You could literally be within eye shot of Ignis and he will still bitch about, no, keep up. So if you don't have the patience for it, this is going to be a dungeon that's going to just piss you off. Because I just can't bring myself to like run, even though, you know, it's kind of my job to make point. And of course, during that several weeks, like, you know, like I kind of mentioned before, that, you know, there's a learning curve. You know, he kind of has to, you know, learn how to manipulate, you know, the environment he's in now, you know. Wow, it's been a while since that told me. Got my sound sufficient to broadcast the gameplay. Also, Iggy's, you know, he won't be able to use any of that. I don't think you deserve anything, Gladio, because you're dead. Down this way. Alright, boys, come on, children. Wait for 3 hours to do that. Crap. Well, we'll go down here and do the main bit there.
No, you weren't. It's just...
Break out the feels, because this is just...
I'm exhausted.
Saddest camp ever. And we all know Iggy's the one that cooks for the group. And of course, Noct is still harboring the guilt of, you know, Iggy having to be forced to make that decision there. So we got our cup of noodle, and we got tin beef. Gladio's a bitch, so we're getting the tin beef.
Took more photos today. You want to see?
No. Not really.
Yeah. Of course.
I kind of like that one. So yeah, we is not in a happy place.
We should get moving. You okay, Ignis?
I'm fine. Don't mind me.
Which I'm pretty sure is a colossal lie on Iggy's part. Okay. Freaking invisible wall.
Oh, looks like somebody left this place in a hurry.
And left all this stuff lying around, too.
The question is, what made them flee in the first place?
Whatever it was, it might still be here. Watch your backs.
Picture. And the better the picture, I guess the better experience points you get.
Looks good enough to me.
And sometimes like, yeah, I can't do better than that. So it's like, I forgot. We need to do things in certain order. So, sweet Iggy. There's a shiny floating around here. No? Yes. Ah. You know, boys, you don't have to follow me everywhere I go. Alright.
These tombs are always in the darndest places.
Glad you're taking this seriously.
How the heck do I... Probably do that. Alrighty. Once you do this, we can focus on the camera stuff. Okay. The control panel's in decent condition, but the power supply is riddled with rust.
I've got a feeling this is the switch that activates that big hunk of junk.
Doesn't look like anyone's tried to use it, though.
Okay, methinks I'm gonna have to pause here for a bit, and I'll pick this up. Oops. So I will do this under 11.2.